So, what is the role of an angel? You probably met people in your lives where you were having a very difficult time and you felt like there were people placed in your life by God that played that role that help you through difficult times. And so, what are some of the jobs an angel has? Does an angel have to be someone sent from heaven, or can it be somebody right here among us, mortal with the rest of us, that has a message from God that we should listen to? So how do we play our part? How do we also function and be messengers for God and partake or play the role of of an angel and taking on God's purpose? Before I get into that, I'd like to talk just a few minutes about an experience we had as a family many years ago. Before we lived in St. George, we lived in Salt Lake, and we came down to St. George, matter of fact, for a spring break. And all of us, including my wife, decided there was a number of things that we wanted to do. Did some rock climbing and things that I enjoy. But even my wife came, and we did one of the caves in southern Utah. It's called the Bloomington Cave, and it's pretty big cave. I mean, it's not like you just go inside the thing and turn around and come back out. I mean, it's as you can see there, they have surveyed over a mile of this underground passage that was formed by a fracture, by earthquake, probably. Not a very good place to be if you have an earthquake, but yeah, over a mile, 1.35 miles. It surveyed depth. The depth of deepest part is about 240 feet. So it's quite a ways down. And you can see we did this cave a couple of times. My wife was even with me, but we went in the southern entrance, went down through some rock. Well, there's a lot of rock. It's all rock, but it's hard to tell. The path that we took was down into this big room, and these little markings here, these little three dots, indicate a steep slope. And our objective, we had pre-planned. It's all locked up. You have to go to the BLM to get a code for the gate because we want to make sure they don't have to rescue you. You have to have three sources of light per person and all the equipment. I probably should have taken a rope to get us down into this first big room because it was very steep, in places kind of slippery, a little bit wet. Um, but we were cautious, went slow, didn't bring ropes, but it'd probably be smarter for people to rappel down to this area. This is a huge room right here. But we had decided we were going to take this orange route, and it's all marked with construction tape or ribbons, and they're numbered kind of so you don't get lost. And so so this is the profile from from this previous picture over here on the left. It gives you an idea of how steep the terrain is when you get inside this cave. So if I focus in or zoom in on that profile picture, you can see as you come in from this southern entrance, it is, unless you do this yellow route, and we didn't, we went straight down to the bottom. It's very steep coming down into this big room. And like I said before, we decided to take this orange route. I think we've done the pink one also. But you can see as you're coming up out of this from the bottom, I mean, there's some sections here that are almost vertical, and it's narrow passage. A lot of times it's like you're going up through a chimney, so you're using your knees and your back, wedging yourself against the roof of the cave, which can be sharp. Um, but my second oldest son, he was so excited. He was like an explorer, exploring at someplace that no one had ever found before. He was so excited. This is when we had Carson with us still, and he. So this is some of the ribbons. This is a white one that you would see, this construction tape, and so he went. This is not our family. This is just a picture I found online. But as you can see here, you can see this ribbon, and a lot of them are labeled or numbered according to your progress. And I was surprised at how excited he was about exploring this cave. And so he kind of got way ahead of us. And I could still hear him, still hear his voice, and his objective was he was out in front. My first instinct, at first, I wanted to be up with him to kind of make sure he didn't go take a wrong direction. But then I realized the best thing I had to do is stay with my wife and help her through some of these obstacles because it was very difficult in the spots. And if I was to leave her behind, she would probably been very upset. So I stayed behind. He was way ahead. And during this experience, like I said, he would get way ahead. He would start calling down directions. Hey, I found another marker. Very cool. It's number whatever on this orange marker, this ribbon. If you keep going up straight, and once you get past the big slope, turn a little bit to your left. And he kept yelling down directions and helping us along the path. Um, and that led to more thinking. Like I said, he's not with us any longer. I don't know exactly how it works in the afterlife, but are there people in places in your life, maybe that have gone before, that are up ahead, that are allowed to send messages of warning, to send messages of direction, to send messages of help and strength and support? Are there individuals, maybe family members, maybe part of his work now is to help us, to strengthen us, to guide? Of course, it's God's work, but he asks for help. So what is the role? And I really think that's probably part of his role right now. So what do angels do? What is their job? And I think the number one thing they will, if one came and talked to you, what they would do is they'd give you direction. And as it says here in Moroni 7:29 through 31, it says, and because he hath done this, my beloved brethren, have miracles ceased. Behold, I say unto you, nay, neither have angels ceased to minister unto the children of men. For behold, they are subject unto him to minister according to the word of his command, showing themselves unto them of strong faith and firm mind in every form of godliness. And this is the key. And the office of their ministry is to call men into repentance and to fulfill and do the work of the covenants of the Father, which he hath made unto the children of men. And so, yeah, we go through life. A lot of times we feel like we're in this dark cave searching for answers and directions, doing the best that we know how. And then God fills in. It's the role of an angel to send directions, directions for improvement. How can I be better? How can I change? How can I live a better life, more like Jesus's? And of course, their work also is to help the purpose of God, which is to redeem his people and save them from their fallen and dark state. If we will listen to his direction, that are given a lot of times through his servants, whether on this earth as mortals or immortals, not on the earth. Another thing to think about, looking through the scriptures, of course, the majority of what they do is they deliver messages from God. This happened many years ago with the angel Gabriel. He helped in 3 different instances. He helped Daniel interpret a dream. He helped Zechariah understand how important his son was going to be in God's work, John the Baptist. And he helped Mary, Jesus's mother, understand how important Jesus's life would be. So there was a purpose. There was a reason these angels came to give this information. And it was probably to strengthen in times of difficulty, but to give understanding in how important these people's lives were going to be and how they could help assist God in making sure they fulfill the full measure of their creation. Some people face very difficult problems, and and they don't know how to overcome some of these trials, obstacles, and they need help. They're stuck. Angels help people that are stuck. You know, a lot of times you might find somebody that's like hit a barrier, um, and it's like they're standing at the face, a rock face, not knowing how to get over to the top of this obstacle or to get around it. They don't know what to do. They're stuck. They're stuck in the prison of doubts, evil traditions, maybe even a cycle of addiction where they're good for a while and then they have a relapse. They're stuck in sin, and angels can help. You know, it's like when Moses was the children of Israel were facing a big problem. God allowed a problem to come they didn't know how to fix. They had snakes that were killing people. Moses was an angel. He was given a solution. All these people had to do was to look at this brass serpent and to be saved. He was given that information. So bottom line, you know, how can you act like as an angel to other people in their lives? What trials or vices or bad habits, difficulties have you overcome or conquered that you could help someone else with that's having, you know, the same problem? How did you get over it? How did you get through it? You know, there's been a lot of difficulty in my life. I've tried to share the tools that God has given with others to help them through difficult situations. What can you do? Can you join a group, a support group? Can you join um, online or a physical group to help people through their problems or issues? And of course, angels also deliver messages of destruction, like happened to Lot when two angels came to him to warn him about the destruction of that city, those cities. One thing to remember is we're not alone. God sends help. We don't have to feel overcome, overwhelmed. Help is here. And angels serve in that capacity to help us wage war in even our physical battles, like happened with Elisha and his servant when he was totally overcome and he saw the whole city surrounded. And Elisha was able to open this young man's eyes that he saw them that are with us are more than those that are against us. And starting here in the middle of the verse, and he answered, "Fear not, for they that be with us are more than they that be with them." And Elisha prayed and said, "Lord, I pray thee, open his eyes that he may see." And the Lord opened the eyes of the young man, and he saw, and beheld the mountain was full of horses and chariots of fire round about Elisha. If we are on God's path and doing all that we know is best in our life, we have nothing to fear, because those that are with us, standing behind us and around us to support us, are greater than those that are against us. That has to do also, of course, with most of life. We suffer with a lot of mental battles. So every day we have these these forces that are forcing us or trying to persuade us to be discouraged, overcome, depressed, angry, just give up kind of attitude. These are 100% mental battles that we need help and reinforcements from angels around and angels here with us. It's like that one Matrix movie when Neo was about ready to give up to Agent Smith. You know, he was surrounded by many of those agents, hundreds and hundreds, and there was of that last final battle, and he was defeated in that big pit with it raining and about ready to give up. And then the matrix pumps all this additional light into him, and he was able to overcome and defeat uh, that evil. That's what God will do with us as long as we have an open heart. And of course, we've seen in the past there's angels that serve as destroying angels that, with the Egyptians, um, the destroying angel was sent as the last plague before they were released from their captivity. And as long as they painted their doors, lintels, and the two side posts with blood, which was very symbolic, as long as they did that, the destroying angel passed them by. So we can do symbolically those same things in our lives. So bottom line, what can we do? First, of course, we have to start with ourselves. We have to fix anything out of order, make right anything that is not right with ourselves, only doing what Jesus would do in your place, saying what he would do, or even thinking. We have to take the high ground. We have to be willing to fix ourselves. That way, when messages of improvement come, we can share that. We're a worthy vessel. There are messages that we will be given to help others to live better. And these messages are messages from God, information or ideas that we can share with others that are so needed. Number 4, we need to be willing to wage spiritual battle against evil and lies and injustice. If someone says something that's not correct, you need to find the best possible way to say that is not right, that is not true, that is messed up. You need to think differently about that. That is against what God wants. And those things are not easy or comfortable, but they need to be said. Of course, all of this comes down to, as you find that next marker in that dark cave, what you can do to help others, giving directions to come up to that next level. You can't direct people from where they are, from below where they are. You need to have the high ground. You need to conquer. You need to make yourself pure and clean so that you can give those directions.